70 questions, 7 rounds. This is the ultimate Harry Potter quiz. From Hogwarts secrets to NEWT level lore, can you beat the 1% who passed the final round? Stick around for question 69 to see if you know Gamp's Law. Nicely done. Now grab your house colors. Round 1, Hogwarts grounds and secrets. Let's go. Question 1. What is the password used to enter the Gryffindor common room in Harry's first year? The correct answer is Caput Draconis. Fun fact, in Latin, Caput Draconis actually translates to dragon's head. Question 2. Which floor holds the forbidden corridor in the Sorcerer's Stone? It was the 3rd floor and definitely off limits to students. That's where Fluffy, the 3-headed dog, was guarding the trap door. Question 3. To enter the Ravenclaw common room, you don't need a password. What must you solve instead? The answer is a riddle. True wisdom is required to enter. If you fail the riddle, you have to wait for someone else to come along and solve it for you. Question 4. What is the name of the room used to train Dumbledore's army? The answer is the Room of Requirement, also known as the Come and Go Room. In the books, it was actually Dobby who first told Harry about the room. Question 5. In which specific tower is the divination classroom located? The correct answer is the North Tower. Professor Trelawney rarely leaves this tower to avoid clouding her inner eye. Question 6. What is the name of the statue that conceals the secret passage to Honeydukes? It's the One-Eyed Witch, Gunhilda of Gorsmorsta II. The password to open the hump on the statue's back is Dicendium. Question 7. Where exactly is the entrance to the Slytherin common room located? The answer is the dungeons, hidden behind a bare stone wall. The windows actually look out into the depths of the Great Lake, giving the room a green glow. Question 8. How many staircases are there in total within Hogwarts Castle? There are 142 staircases, and remember, they like to change. Some of those 142 staircases even have trick steps that sink if you don't jump over them. Question 9. What specific item must you tickle to enter the Hogwarts kitchens? The answer is a pear. Tickle it on the fruit bowl painting and it turns into a door handle. The kitchens are perfectly aligned directly below the Great Hall tables. Question 10. Which ghost haunts the second-floor girls' bathroom? It's Moaning Myrtle. Don't let her see you throwing books at her. Fun fact, Myrtle's full name is actually Myrtle Elizabeth Warren. That's the end of the Gryffindor round. How many did you score out of 10? Brave enough to share it in the comments? Are you a Neville or a Hermione? Be honest. No cheating quills allowed. Transitioning now from the common room to the Forbidden Forest. Round 2, Magical Creatures. Let's see if you can handle these beasts. Question 11. We're starting round 2 with a deadly one. What is the only known antidote to basilisk venom? The answer is Phoenix Tears. Extremely rare and incredibly powerful. Fun fact, Phoenix Tears are the only thing that can heal a basilisk wound. Just ask Harry Potter. Question 12. Which massive creature is feared as the king of spiders? It's the Acromantula. Aragog would be proud you got that one right. It's the Acromantula. Aragog would be proud you got that one right. Question 13. To show respect to a hippogriff, you need to know what it is. What animal makes up its front half? It's an eagle, specifically the head, wings, and front talons. Remember, never blink and always bow, or Hagrid is going to have a very bad day. Question 14. What creature pulls the Hogwarts carriages but remains invisible to most students? The answer is Thestrals, skeletal winged horses with a misunderstood reputation. Thestrals are actually very smart and useful, but the Ministry labeled them dangerous, mostly because they look spooky. Question 15. What is the name of the mischievous, gold-sniffing creature that loves anything shiny? It's the Niffler. Keep an eye on your jewelry around these guys. Like Hermione's handbag, a Niffler's belly pouch is magically expanded to hold massive amounts of treasure. Question 16. What bird is known as the Irish phoenix and is famous for its mournful cry? The answer is the augury. Wizards once believed their cry predicted death, but they actually just sense rain. Fun fact, don't try to write your homework with their feathers. They actually repel ink. Question 17. Which massive creature is used to guard the high-security vaults deep inside Gringotts? It's the Ukrainian ironbelly, the largest dragon breed in the wizarding world. These dragons are massive, weighing up to 6 tons. That's about the size of a school bus. Question 18. What small, stick-like creature serves as a guardian for trees that produce wandwood? It's the bowtruckle. They are peaceable unless the tree they live in is threatened. If you need to cut some wood, just distract them with some wood lice. They can't resist them. Question 19. Which creature looks like a giant, colorful snail and changes its hue every single hour? The answer is the streeler. Their venom is so toxic it can wither all vegetation it touches. Fun fact, their slime trail is so toxic that it literally burns the ground beneath them. Question 20. What is the name of the shapeshifter that transforms into whatever its observer fears most? It's a boggart. Just remember to shout ridiculous and think of something funny. Fun fact, nobody actually knows what a boggart looks like when it's alone. It's the ultimate mystery. That wraps up the Slytherin round. How many of these beasts did you identify? Post your score below. Are you a bumbling crab or a brilliant Snape? Let's see if you can keep this streak alive. Dust off those wands. Round 3, spells and charms. It's about to get magical. Question 21. You'll need this for protection. What is the incantation for the shield charm? The answer is Protego, a vital spell for any duelist. Fun fact, stronger versions like Protego Totalum can actually shield an entire campsite from intruders. Question 22. Think back to the Hogwarts Express. Which spell did Hermione use to fix Harry's glasses? It's Oculus Reparo. Simple, but very effective for a clumsy wizard. Fun fact, while Reparo is great for glasses, it famously struggles to fix a snapped magic wand. Question 23. This one is for the pranksters. What is the incantation for the dancing feet spell? The answer is Tarrant Allegra. It forces the victim's legs to dance uncontrollably. Fun fact, Harry first experienced this spell during the dueling club in his 2nd year. Question 24. What is the standard charm used for unlocking doors and windows? It's Alohomora, the thief's friend. It works on most standard locks. Fun fact, a thief named Eldritch Diggory actually brought this spell to Britain hundreds of years ago. Question 25. Which spell creates a clean, drinkable stream of water from your wand? The answer is Aguamenti. Just don't use it on a devil's snare. They hate it. Fun fact, Harry desperately tried to use this spell to help Dumbledore in the Crystal Cave during the Half-Blood Prince. Question 26. What is the incantation for the severing charm used to cut objects with precision? The answer is Diffindo. Harry famously used this to cut the straps on Cedric's bag. Fun fact, while handy for cutting fabric or paper, it can be a very dangerous spell in a duel. Question 27. Which spell did Gilderoy Lockhart use to accidentally remove all the bones in Harry's arm? It's Brachiomemento. It was supposed to heal the bone, not delete it. Fun fact, Harry had to spend a painful night in the hospital wing drinking Skeeligro to grow back 33 bones. Question 28. What is the incantation for the freezing charm, used to stop creatures or objects in their tracks? The answer is Immobulus. Hermione used this to stop those pesky Cornish pixies. Fun fact, in the movies, Slughorn used this spell to silence a Muggle burglar alarm while hiding from the Ministry. Question 29. Which spell produces a blinding flash of light to momentarily disorient your enemy? The answer is Lumos Solum. It creates light as bright and hot as the sun. Fun fact, Hermione used this powerful light spell to drive back the devil's snare in the underground chambers. Question 30. What is the incantation for the banishing charm, the direct opposite of the summoning charm? It's Depulso. It sends target objects flying away from the caster. Fun fact. Flitwick had his students practice this by banishing cushions, though they often ended up hitting the teacher instead. Round 3 is in the books. How many spells and charms did you master? Let us know in the comments below. Are you a loyal Hufflepuff like Cedric, or do you need more time in the library? Round 4 is waiting. Time for a history lesson. Round 4, History of Magic. Only the most dedicated students will survive this throwback. Question 31. We're going way back. Who was the first headmaster of Hogwarts? It's a trick. The school was originally led by all 4 founders, Godric, Helga, Rowena, and Salazar. Fun fact, items like Rowena's diadem or Gryffindor's sword became the most legendary artifacts in history. Question 32. A true Ravenclaw should know this. Which goblin led the rebellion of 1612? It was Urg the Unclean, a name that certainly sticks in your head. Fun fact, that rebellion actually centered around Hogsmeade. The village was used as a headquarters for the goblin forces. Question 33. Put your thinking caps on. What year was the International Statute of Wizarding Secrecy officially signed? The answer is 1689, though it wasn't fully established until 1692. Fun fact, this law is the reason wizards live in secret today, created to protect them from Muggle persecution. Question 34. Every Hogwarts student owns this textbook. Who is the author of A History of Magic? It's Bathilda Bagshot. She was considered the most celebrated wizarding historian of her time. Fun fact, Bathilda lived right in Godric's Hollow and was actually one of Albus Dumbledore's oldest friends. Question 35. Before Azkaban became the standard, what was the name of the first wizarding prison? The answer is Nurmengard. Built by Grindelwald to hold his enemies, it eventually became his own cell. Fun fact, Grindelwald famously carved his slogan, "For the greater good," right over the entrance to the prison. Question 36. Which of the 4 founders created the Hidden Chamber of Secrets? It was Salazar Slytherin, built to purge the school of those he deemed unworthy. Fun fact, the chamber stayed hidden for a millennium until Tom Riddle discovered the entrance in the bathroom. Question 37. Who held the office of Minister for Magic during the height of the First Wizarding War? The answer is Millicent Bagnold. She famously defended the wizarding celebrations after Voldemort's first downfall. Fun fact, she's the one who famously told the International Confederation of Wizards that they had a right to party when Voldemort disappeared. Question 38. Before the Ministry of Magic was formed in 1707, what was the governing body called? It was simply called the Wizards' Council. It was led by a chief warlock. Fun fact, the council was eventually replaced because it wasn't organized enough to enforce the new statute of secrecy. Question 39. Which eccentric witch loved being burned so much she let it happen 47 times? That would be Wendelin the Weird. She used a flame-freezing charm to make the fire feel like a tickle. Fun fact, she actually went out of her way to get caught because she thought the tickling sensation of the fire was fun. Question 40. What year did the very first Triwizard Tournament take place? The first tournament was held way back in 1294. It was a friendly competition between the 3 schools. Fun fact, it was actually cancelled for centuries after the 1790s because the body count just got too high. Round 4 is complete. How many History of Magic facts did you store in that brilliant brain of yours? Post your score below. Are you a forgetful Lockhart, or do you have the legendary wisdom of Rowena herself? Only a true Ravenclaw hits that perfect 10. Don't get too comfortable. We're moving into round 5, Objects of Power. From legendary wands to dark Horcruxes, let's see if you can handle these artifacts. Question 41. The most powerful wand in existence. Do you know what wood the Elder Wand is made of? The answer is elder, fittingly enough with a core of thestral tail hair. Fun fact, it's the only wand in history known to use a thestral tail hair core, which is why only those who have seen death can truly master it. Question 42. It's a literal object of power and teeth. What must you do to tame a monster book of monsters? The answer is stroke its spine, just a little tickle and it settles right down. Fun fact. Hagrid actually found these books hilarious, though most of the class spent the lesson trying not to get bitten. Question 43. Which magical stone basin allows a wizard to siphon off and view stored memories? It's a pensieve, a rare and complex artifact used by high-level witches and wizards. Fun fact, the Hogwarts pensieve actually belongs to the school itself, passed down from headmaster to headmaster for centuries. Question 44. These dark objects are nearly indestructible. What is the only substance known to destroy a Horcrux? The answer is basilisk venom, or of course anything imbued with it like Gryffindor's sword. Fun fact, fiend fire can also do the job, but it's so cursed and uncontrollable that most wizards won't even try it. Question 45. What mysterious golden object did Dumbledore leave to Ron Weasley in his will? It's the Deluminator, also known as the Put-Outer. Fun fact, Dumbledore didn't just own the Deluminator, he actually invented it. Question 46. What is the name of the magical map that reveals every person's location within the castle? It's the Marauder's map. Just remember to say, I solemnly swear that I am up to no good. Fun fact, the map was created by Moony, Wormtail, Padfoot, and Prongs during their time as students. Question 47. Which delicate gold object is used to travel back in time by turning a small hourglass? The answer is a time turner. Just be careful not to be seen by your past self. Fun fact, Hermione actually used it all year just to fit more classes into her schedule. Talk about a dedicated student. Question 48. What legendary stone was hidden inside the golden snitch that Dumbledore left for Harry? It's the Resurrection Stone, one of the 3 Deathly Hallows. Fun fact, the snitch was designed with flesh memory and only opened when Harry accepted his fate in the Forbidden Forest. Question 49. What ancient, patched-up object is responsible for sorting every student into their Hogwarts house? It's the Sorting Hat. It's been reading minds for over 1,000 years. Fun fact, the hat wasn't always a sorcerer. It was originally the personal headwear of Godric Gryffindor himself. Question 50. Which of the 3 Deathly Hallows is said to make the wearer completely and permanently invisible? The answer is the Invisibility Cloak. Unlike standard cloaks, this one never fades with age. Fun fact, Harry's cloak is unique because it's a true hallow, meaning it can resist spells that reveal standard invisibility cloaks. That's the end of round 5. How many legendary objects did you identify? Tell us your score in the comments. Are you a confused muggle or an elite unspeakable from the Department of Mysteries? Only 20 questions left. Get your cauldrons ready. Round 6, Potions and Perils. This one might get a little volatile. Question 51. If brewed correctly, what color should the draught of living death be? The answer is pale lilac, though it turns clear like water shortly after. Fun fact, Harry used the Half-Blood Prince's notes to brew this perfectly and win the liquid luck. Question 52. Which famous and foul-tasting potion allows you to transform into another person? It's Polyjuice Potion, just don't accidentally use a cat hair. Fun fact, One dose usually lasts an hour, but as Hermione found out, it doesn't work on animal transformations. Question 53. What is the technical name for the potion known as liquid luck? It's Felix Felicis. Use it sparingly as it causes giddiness and overconfidence. Fun fact, it's strictly forbidden in Quidditch matches or O.W.L exams. That would be massive cheating. Question 54. What is the key ingredient needed to create a shrinking solution? The answer is chopped daisy roots. You also need sliced shrivel fig and peeled shrivel fruit. Fun fact, Snape almost made Neville feed his failed potion to Trevor the Toad. Luckily, Hermione helped him fix it. Question 55. What is the name of the world's most powerful love potion, famous for its pearly sheen? The answer is Amortentia. It smells differently to everyone based on what they find attractive. Fun fact, Amortentia can't create real love, only a deep, dangerous obsession. That's why it's so heavily regulated. Question 56. This one is dangerous in the wrong hands. What is the primary effect of Veritaserum? The answer is it forces the drinker to tell the truth. Just 3 drops and your secrets are out. Fun fact, the Ministry has very strict rules on Veritaserum, but that didn't stop Umbridge from trying to use it on Harry. Question 57. A difficult potion to brew. What is the main ingredient in Wolfsbane potion? It's Wolfsbane, also known as aconite or monkshood. It doesn't cure lycanthropy, but it keeps the mind human. Fun fact, Damocles Belby actually won an Order of Merlin for inventing this, saving countless werewolves from their transformations. Question 58. Looking for a pick-me-up? Which potion makes the drinker feel giddy and lighthearted? It's the elixir to induce euphoria. It's sunshine in a bottle, though it can cause excessive singing. Fun fact, following the Half-Blood Prince's notes, Harry added peppermint to stop the side effect of the drinker wanting to tweak people's noses. Question 59. It tastes terrible and it's hard to swallow. What color is Scaly Grow? The answer is yellow, and according to Harry, it tastes like absolute smoke and fire. Fun fact, it takes 8 hours of agonizing pain to regrow a bone. Definitely worse than just a broken arm. Question 60. Wrapping up the potions round. What is the primary effect of Girding Potion? The answer is extra endurance. It gives the drinker a long-lasting boost of energy. Fun fact, this potion isn't for beginners. It takes weeks to mature and requires dragonfly thoraxes. The cauldron has settled. How many potions did you brew correctly? Let's see those scores in the comments. Did you blow up your cauldron like Seamus, or are you a potion master? We're heading into the final round next.
This is it. The final 10. We've reached the grand finale. No more safety nets. Only the true masters of magic will survive this.
Question 61. Deep inside the Ministry, what is the name of the golden fountain in the main atrium? It's the Fountain of Magical Brethren, featuring a wizard, a witch, a centaur, a goblin, and a house elf. Fun fact, every coin thrown into that fountain goes directly to help the patients at St. Mungo's Hospital for Magical Maladies. Question 62. In the Crystal Cave, which spell did Dumbledore use to reveal the hidden boat? Trick question. Dumbledore used non-verbal ancient magic, stating that magic always leaves traces. Fun fact, he didn't need a wand for this. He simply felt the vibrations of the dark magic Voldemort left behind. Question 63. If you're listening to Celestina Warbeck, which radio station are you tuned into? It's the Wizarding Wireless Network, or the WWN for short. Fun fact, during the Dark Days, members of the Order used the network to run Potterwatch, keeping everyone's hopes alive. Question 64. Sirius Black was famous for it, but who was the first to escape Azkaban entirely on their own? It was indeed Sirius Black. He did it by transforming into Padfoot to slip past the Dementors. Fun fact, Barty Crouch Jr. technically got out earlier, but he needed a polyjuice swap with his mother to do it. Question 65. When a true Gryffindor is in need, what is the spell to call the sword? You can't cast a spell for it. The sword only appears to a true Gryffindor inside the sorting hat. Fun fact, since it's goblin silver, the sword actually absorbed basilisk venom, making it a Horcrux killing machine. Question 66. Hogwarts isn't the only school. What is the name of the magical academy in France? It's Beauxbaton's Academy of Magic, known for its beautiful grounds and carriage pulled by Abrixons. Fun fact, famous alumni include Nicholas Flamel, the only man to ever successfully create the Sorcerer's Stone. Question 67. To turn Nagini into a Horcrux, whose murder did Voldemort use? It was the murder of Bertha Jorkins. This made Nagini the only living Horcrux besides Harry. Fun fact, long before she was a Horcrux, Nagini was actually a woman with a blood curse, as seen in the Fantastic Beasts films. Question 68. If you don't want to get soaked in vinegar, how do you enter the Hufflepuff common room? You must tap the second barrel from the bottom in the middle of the second row to the rhythm of Helga Hufflepuff.
Fun fact, it's the only common room with a built-in defense system. Get it wrong, and you'll smell like a salad all day. Question 69. Almost at the end. What is the full name of the tireless Hogwarts matron? It's Madame Poppy Pomfrey. She can mend bones in a heartbeat, but she draws the line at dragons. Fun fact, Madame Pomfrey has seen it all, from Remus Lupin's monthly visits to Harry's yearly hospital stays. Question 70. The final question. What are the 3 final words that end the entire book series? The final words are, all was well, a perfect ending to an epic journey. Fun fact, for years the author said the final word would be scar, but she eventually changed it to, for the epilogue. That's the end of our final round. How did you handle the most difficult questions in the wizarding world? Post your round 7 score below.
Now, it's time for the moment of truth. Add up your scores from all 7 rounds. What is your grand total out of 70? If you scored over 66, you've earned the Order of Merlin First Class. You truly are a master of Harry Potter lore. If you enjoyed this 70-question mega quiz, make sure to hit that subscribe button. We have new challenges coming every week to keep your brain sharp. Tap that bell icon so you never miss an upload. Thanks for playing Brain Boost Trivia, and we'll see you in the next round. Mischief managed.